going to stop right there and just go through the movements. I'm gonna talk you through every part of it. The first one is segmented glute bridge. So what we're going to do is we're going to lie down on our backs. I'm going to set a timer there. I'm going to lie down to your lower back, onto your back, sorry. Okay, and then from here, we're going to lift up our hips, but we're going to slowly lift it up one vertebrae at a time. And as we lower it down, we're going to lower one vertebrae at a time as well. We'll turn that down a little bit. Feeling that spine touch. So as I lift up, I'm going to tuck my tailbone under so I can feel the lower back. I'm going to lift up nice and slow. As I lift up to the top, I can feel the glutes and the hamstrings, the back of the legs, and your lower back working together. Now, once you've got that pattern of one vertebrae at a time, I want you to focus on your breath. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Nice and slow. We got 90 seconds here. And this is just a way for us to bring awareness to our spine, that we are going to be moving it. And we are going to need all the muscles that protect it. But one of my favorite things is understanding that you can express your body in so many different ways. So be gentle with it. All right, I'm going to lower that down one more time. All right, and then next one is the 90-90. So from here, we're going to take a seat. Start off with your hands behind here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go side to side with our knees. Right? So our main focus here is to just open up everything through the hips. So one leg leads and you can feel the stretch on the inside of your legs, and the other one follows. Push one knee out, the other one follows. Now, as you progress, and if that's too easy for you, then you can come up a little bit higher, be more upright with your torso. Right? And if that's a little bit easier, then you can lift up your hands, then go into that position. But otherwise, if the other ones are more comfortable for you, right now, this is probably the most comfortable for me because my hips are quite tight from doing weight training this morning. So I'll listen to my body and work with that. But if I want to increase that, I just need to lean forward and feel that stretch all the way through the glute as well. So that transition through the middle is quite tough for me right now. So I'll place my hands back there, open up, and then reach forward. Opposite hand to the opposite side. So if I'm going to go turn to my right side, open up those hips. I'm going to reach with my left hand. And what we'll notice is that it starts to open up a little bit better. I can be a little bit more upright and challenge myself a little bit more. Don't forget to breathe while I talk through these. All right, so the next one is the knee push-up into child's pose. Now, no, not so much emphasis on the push-up. It's all about, again, expressing yourself through these movements. So knees are going to be out wide. You're going to place those hands just in front of you. Okay, and then you're just going to lower yourself down to the ground. From here, we're going to lift up our body and then sit back into the hips. Coming forward, nice and slow, just lowering yourself down towards the ground. And then lift up and sit back into the hips, really driving those hips in towards the ankles, keeping those knees out wide. And I'm always looking for ways to gain more expression. So what I do is come down to the bottom of that push-up, right, and lift up those hands, squeeze the shoulders back, place those hands back down again, and then drive those hips. And from here, while I'm in this bottom position, I'm pushing away from the ground with my hands so I can really bring those hips in. Nothing too intense, okay? I still want you to focus on your breath. Lift up, squeeze the shoulder blades back for a couple of seconds. Place those hands down and then sit back again. And if you feel a little bit more tension in certain areas, you're allowed to stay there and just focus on your breath. If you need a rest, right, you can stay in those positions as well where you can relax for a little bit and then come back into it. Nothing is explosive here. I want you to really welcome the expression of each part of the movement. All right. The next one is I'm going to get you to lie down on your side. Place your hands together, knees together, just slightly in front of the hip. This is called the sideline thoracic rotation. So from here, we're going to open up your chest, keep those knees down. This is going to open up your thoracic, which is this part in between your shoulder blades and your chest. So that's the part of the spine that we're trying to open up. Another name for this is an open book, closed book. But what I love, what I do with this one is keep the hand close to the body, so I'm unraveling that part of my upper back. And as I come back in, I curl in to a ball, and then once I get my hands together, I want you to reach forward, reach over, reach past that bottom hand. And again, I want you to focus on your breath. Just reach to those positions. The kind of level that I want you to focus on while you're doing these movements, in terms of intensity, is staying at that 7 out of 10. So meaning it shouldn't be so strenuous that you have to stop, right? But it's not so easy that you're getting bored. So it's a nice sweet spot. We've got 15 more seconds. And again, if you feel like you want to hold on to a place where it feels where you feel a little bit more tension, right? You can stay in those positions and use those muscles to contract. Right. We're going to switch sides. I'm going to face this way so that you can see me open up from that side. Right. There's 20 seconds rest in between. You can lie down for a little bit if you wish. But here we go. We're going to open that position while my knees are flat on the ground. To this other side, I'm trying to open up that hand and bring those shoulder blades flat on the ground. You'll notice that one side is tighter than the other. We all have a dominant side and a non-dominant side. We explore each side so that we can get to know our body and what areas we need to express more. There's a lot of parts that we focus on because it's going to get us something, but we never really do exercise and listen to our body and go, actually, you know what? I need to stay in this position a little bit longer. I need to explore this part a little bit more. I need to express this movement just a little bit more. And when you start to do that, you start to understand that it's not about how much you can lift or how fast you can go, but how well you know your body. All right. So the next movement is the 4-part hip opener. One thing that I like to have with these as an option is you can use blocks. If you've got yoga blocks, the thicker the better because you have more support. But I'm just going to pause there for a second. But with the blocks, if you don't have blocks, you can use books. You've got big, thick books, so you can stack some together. But I like to use blocks. And with this, what's going to happen is I'm not going to start the timer just yet. But the 4-point hip opener, we're going to stay on one side. We're going to plant that hand on the outside. Now, without these blocks, it's a little bit harder if you're not mobile enough to keep those hands down to the ground. So with the help of these blocks, you can really stay at that 7 out of 10, right? So this is going to be the first position. I'll talk you through each of the movements, but here we go. So just planting that foot on the outside, and I'm driving those hips forward, right? Feeling that stretch through here and pushing that knee out towards the pinky toe. And then from there, I'm going to sit back, feeling the hamstrings, but keeping that front foot flat on the ground. Feel the hamstrings at the back there. And then from there, we're going to place that hand to that leg to the outside, right? Keep that foot flat, and then you'll feel the stretch on the inside here when you sit back, right? And then the next one, we're going to wrap that leg around the outside and just sit back, and you'll feel the opposite hip. You can feel that stretch. All right, we got one more time on each position. Plant that foot on the outside, really lean into it. You can go a little bit deeper. You might be able to go a little bit deeper this time around. Then sit back, punch your back. Really, really drive that leg to the ground. We're holding about three to 4 seconds on each position, depending on how you feel in these positions. And again, if you feel like one area needs to be exposed more, needs some more time, some TLC expression, stay there. There's no hard and fast rule. You have to listen to your body. You get to listen to your body this time around. All right, we're going to go swap to the other side. Okay, we're going to plant that foot. So we're going to go straight into it. Plant that foot. Leaning forward with that hip, feeling that stretch on the inside of your thigh. And then from here, sit back into your hamstring. Then we're going to plant that foot on the outside. Sitting back, feeling that stretch. Then we're going to wrap that leg around to the other side. If you have a look at that, that's it. That's the position that we want, just leaning into that hip. You'll feel it in the opposite hip. All right, one more time with each position. Plant that foot forward. You can really open up through those hips. Then sit back into the hamstring. Feeling that stretch through the back of the thigh. Then planting that foot on the outside. Sit back. Wrap that leg around the opposite side of the opposite leg. Okay, if you want to increase that stretch a little bit more, you can move that back knee back a little bit more. All right, cool. Done with that. We've got one more movement. I'm going to go in a standing position, and we're going to go one vertebrae at a time. We're going to reach up. Going to do a forward fold. So from here, we're going to go tuck your chin in, round your shoulders, and then one vertebrae at a time as you go down low. Go a little bit wider with your feet. You're going to place your hands on the ground, push your knees out, right? From here, going to lift up the hips again, then come up and unravel. Reach up as much as you can. Focus on your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Tuck your chin in, round your shoulders, round your back. Keep the legs as straight as you can until your hands are on the ground. Then bend your knees to come down into that squat. Then while you're here, lift up your hips as high as you can. Feel the stretch in your hamstrings. See, mine are already freeing up already. Gonna reach up. Then come down again. One more time. Tuck that chin in. Round the shoulders. Bend your hips. Come down into that Kang squat. Pushing those knees out. Place those hands on the ground. Lift up your hips. Unravel yourself one vertebrae at a time. Reaching up. We got space for one more. Tuck your chin in, around your shoulders, hunch your back, feel the stretch in your back of your legs, bend your knees, push your knees out. Lift up your hips, one vertebrae at a time as you rise up. Reach up, breathe in, and relax.